Hey, folks, welcome to the Camp Constitution Report with your host, Hal Shurtleff. This report is heard on our YouTube channel, on our Podomatic page, as well as a number of other resources brought to you by Camp Constitution, which, among other things, runs a week-long family camp. And this year's camp is coming up July 13th to the 18th, same venue as last year, the Singing Hills Christian Camp in beautiful Plainfield, New Hampshire, which is about an hour north and west of the state capital, Concord. We also have a ladies' retreat coming up early May, first weekend in May, here in Alton, New Hampshire, and a number of other activities. To learn more about us, please visit our website, campconstitution.net. And if you like what we do, we definitely could appreciate your financial support. You can do that by hitting our PayPal account on our website's homepage. With that, I want to talk a little bit about this organization, which I discovered, probably a couple of years ago. I've been meaning to do a little show on it, and something came up on my Facebook page. There's a Facebook group, and I don't think I have signed up for it, but somehow they reached out to me. It's named after the Cleveland Indians, fans of the Cleveland Indians. And there was a lot of these left wingers posting on there how evil and racist the name Cleveland Indian was, and so forth. So that's when I thought about this group called the Native American Guardians Association. Uh, and they have some great resources. Now, let's get back into this. Why bother with all the problems in the world? Why bother about sports teams being renamed? Well, this is the culture war. See, the Marxists don't just take over take over geography, in wartime. In fact, most of the Marxists, they destroy a country from within. They take it over without a shot being fired, which is the name of a book that a communist wrote, How to Take Over a Country Without Shooting. There might be some shots fired, but not full-scale war. And one of them, of course, is to destroy the culture, to change the culture, change history. And the left is doing a great job of that. But there's been a lot of pushback. The Howard Zinn's books that are in many of the government schools have filled out our Constitution is evil, that capitalism is evil, that our history is evil, everything is wicked. If you're white, you're wicked, you're an oppressor, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously, we believe in true and accurate history, and I think the United States is one of the few countries that actually, talks about the history, warts and all. Where if you go, I've had a friend of mine that used to teach in Japan. They don't teach anything about the atrocities committed by the Japanese in World War II. Like it never happened. And other countries that they don't talk. Look at Italy. I mean, Italy, the Roman Empire had, I think Rome had more slaves living in it than they had free people during the height of the Roman Empire. But somehow we don't hate Italians because they introduced slavery all over the world, all over what was considered the known world in Africa and Europe. But for some reason, we American whiteys, we catch hell because of slavery in this country, even though the Americans did. We did have it from 1776, and it was eventually totally abolished by 1865. And many states had abolished it, even in the the first early years of our country. And of course, we've done some bad things to Black people. Their Indians have American Indians have. There's some terrible things that were done, but it's a two-way street too. But I don't want to get into that. I want to get into the sports teams: Cleveland Indians. Let's see, Washington Redskins. There's a lot of high school teams around the country that change their names. In some cases, it's just a couple of uptight white liberals that were offended by it. And I remember on a Facebook page, I posted some information about this group, and a white woman came back and said, "Oh, this is racism. It's offensive. This is terrible." And I said, 90% of American Indians or American Native Americans, although I kind of reject the term Native American. I'm a Native American. I was born here. My father was born here. We go back 10 generations. So it doesn't matter if you go back 10 or 20 or 100. If you're born here, you're a Native American. And in fact, I remember some years ago, I was in a restaurant in upstate New York, and there's a very lovely young lady, strikingly attractive. And I asked her what her, I said, I hope you don't mind if I ask you what your ethnic background is. And she said that she's Portuguese and Indian. She was part of the Indian tribe that lived on Cape Cod. And she said, we don't like the term Native American. And there's still an American Indian Affairs Bureau. I get up to Maine, where you have Indian reservations or Indian, what's the name of a sub tribe. Anyway, the word Indian is used all the time. And so it seems to be only offensive to white liberals. But this organization, and they use the word Native American, but they want to see the Washington Redskins, what's now called, I think, the Washington Nationals or whatever they call themselves. No, not the Nationals. I can't remember. The Cleveland Indians are the Guardians now, whatever that's supposed to mean. Somebody suggested it sounded like a prophylactic, a guardian, whatever the name of the Washington team is. For a number of years, it was just the Washington football team, and they decided to pick a name. But these sports teams actually named themselves after Native Americans, Indians, to honor Indians. I think the Cleveland Indians had an incredible ball player, Napla Joy, and they named it in his honor. The Washington Redskins, I think they actually had members of the tribe that were there when they had the official ceremony. I think it was in the early 70s where they adopted the logo. So this wasn't racist. It wasn't mean to demean Indians. I mean, you have a name Braves. How offensive is the word brave? A brave is a warrior. Redskin. Well, they call themselves Redskins, and they were very proud of that. So the idea that it's somehow racist and a throwback to the colonial era, et cetera, it's absolute nonsense. But it's part of this political correctness, and too many people get caught up in it. They don't fight it. They say, "Well, what's the point? We get so many things to fight." Well, this is something worth fighting for because they're trying to destroy our nation's history. And I guess there are some symbols where Indians may have been considered racist. If you look at some things, it's like Aunt Jemima on a maple syrup bottle. I don't think is, but they're back in the early part of the last century. There was definitely some things that I would find that are definitely offensive. Some of this what they call Black Americana that was demeaning. It may not, it was basically, I would say, paternalistic racism, as opposed to outright hostility and anti-Black. But anyway, so I'm just going to review this website, NAGA, and I encourage you to National Association of Native American Guardians Association is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization advocating for increased education about Native Americans, especially in public education institutions, and greater recognition of Native American heritage with the high-profile venues of sports and other platforms. And by the way, I do have some American Indian ancestry in me, which I'm quite proud of. Probably not a lot, but I would say a little bit more than Liz Warren. I never got a DNA, but I was told by a cousin of mine who did. He gave me a little history, a little background. Shirtless, we've been here a long time. So if you're here, if your people, so I may not directly have any, but many shirtless do. And that's all good. So, but it's possible that I do. I'm not certain. Uh, so they have some great resources here. Native Americans organization wants to bring back NFL's Washington Redskins. Nothing but an honor. Frank Blackcloud discusses his proud heritage. So there's some good resources here. Iron County, Utah supports the Redmen for July 4th. Redskins get a new field. So this is stuff that you can use to combat some of this insanity that's going around. And I know that, again, there's been some pushback. Let me just go here. Misconceptions. Okay, here we go. And they have a whole bunch top misconceptions. Redskins is racist. Tribal leader disagrees with you. One offended is enough. Dictionary to define slur. Natives aren't mascots. Let's check that one out here. The Native American Gardens Association finds your use of the term mascot inappropriate. The claim of equivalence between Native American iconic symbols and mascot is employed to trivialize our proud heritage. Isn't it ironic that you use the term with our Native American imagery and iconic symbols? The M word conjures up a furry costumed individual, which in no way is a respectful display of our culture imagery. Okay. If we need to have a conversation on Native Americans' names or iconic symbols, let's have that discussion. Native warriors are honored for their bravery, skill, and fighting spirit. Native Americans tribes all use their imagery in similar manner as logos, branding, and monikers. They inspire pride like a family crest. Being in the public eye is a positive reflection of our culture. Native imagery is a badge of honor that 90% of Native Americans support. You hear that? 90% of Native Americans. Okay. Uh, so that's just one of them. Let's see. Go back to the misconceptions and see what else. Redskins is racist. So 90% of Native Americans disagree with you on that statement. So that's a pretty good 90%. And here's a little logo. Reclaim the name Redskins. And so here's another misconception. That's one. That ship has sailed, right? Just like when they said Roe v. Wade was settled law. That ship has sailed. That name isn't coming back. Must be nice to dismiss an entire racist culture. No, it's not over. Native American imagery and names are under attack across the nation, and battles are being fought every day at every level. This is a stark reminder that your inconvenient truth of turning the other way while eradication of our culture happens around you is wrong. This will not deter our mission to defend, save, and reclaim our Native American imagery and names. Those that want the issue to go away do so because they don't want to have to think about it anymore. So again, some great stuff here. It has their leadership and the groups that have allied with this organization. Let me just, and here it goes. There's a number of different what they believe, how to become a member, and how you can join as an organization, or you can join as an individual to help spread the word. And visit their website. Let's see what it says about members. Or communications. Oh yeah, and it shows you some of the leaders of the group. So I think it's a very worthwhile group. I think they have different resources that can be used to educate school board members who are under the gun when it comes to this thing, and just some great resources to bring back the names, this proud heritage, and I remember in Virginia, there was a town that they changed the name of the school. It was it was Jackson Heights, I think. I'm not certain. I go through it on the way to Lynchburg, Virginia, and anyway, they renamed the high school, but I think they renamed it. It brought the name back, Stonewall Jackson. But they said, well, he was this horrible racist Civil War general that exploited blacks and wanted to enslave people, and all this nonsense. Well, Jackson was a very devout Christian. He was not in favor of slavery. In fact, he hated slavery and wanted to see it abolished. They say he owned slaves. I think he owned two. When I visited his homestead in Lexington, Virginia, told me the story. There was a young black slave, a little girl. I guess her owner had died, and she was going to be shipped down to Alabama on a plantation. He didn't want that to happen, so he purchased her, and then and treated her obviously. And also, there was another black man that lived near his home, and same similar situation that he was going to be shipped down, and he ended up buying him. And the guy just can't. He didn't even live there. He had his own place, and he would come and go as he pleased. And Stonewall Jackson also ran a Sunday school for blacks, taught them how to read, violating Virginia law. So a lot of this stuff, people have to have a look a little deeper. It doesn't take a whole lot. So again, I encourage folks to take a look at this website, the NAGA. Yeah, make American Indian great again by keeping the names or bringing back the names. And I want to thank you for listening or watching. And let me see here. Stop the share. All right. So to learn more about us, please visit our website, campconstitution.net. We also encourage you to go subscribe to our YouTube channel, share the videos that we have. Also, our Podomatic page is where we have this in an audio format. as well as Rumble. And with that, thank you and God bless.